Y las mujeres también somos amantes del mundo del motociclismo. Vamos a descubrir Canadá con Emily Roberts.
Hello, my name is Emily Roberts, and I'm so excited to be able to speak to you today about the Canadian motorcycle industry during the F2R Motorcycle Show Columbia. I work for Mojo Magazine, a Canadian motorcycle publication that's dedicated not only to motorcycles, but the motorcycling community within Canada. We cover all types of bikes with a very heavy focus on travel throughout Canada and around the world. Throughout this past year, we have seen many things adapt and change within our Canadian industry due to the pandemic. Throughout this presentation, I'll discuss some changes within the industry and provide an overview of popular motorcycle segments, motorcycle sales, goals for motorcyclists, and the Canadian industry over 2020 and 2021. We've seen a few shifts in motorcycle sales this past year, but perhaps the most surprising is the large increase in off-road motorcycle sales. Throughout 2020, we saw a 63% increase in new recreational or off-road motorcycle sales, a 46% increase in small displacement or mini bike recreational sales, and a 34% increase in both motocross bikes and dual sport bikes. While we saw an increase in the off-road and dual sport segments of motorcycling, we also saw a decrease in street bikes and scooter sales. These numbers mean a few things. With the increase in mini bike sales, it shows promise of sustainability in the Canadian motorcycling industry. Studies have found that adults are more likely to buy and ride motorcycles if they were introduced to them as a child. This means we may be on track to see further increase in sales for the coming years. Another important conclusion I would come to with this sales data is that because licensing facilities and training courses were shut down due to the pandemic, new motorcyclists were unable to get street licenses, causing a further increase in off-road sales. Through my personal experience, teaching dirt biking for many years, I think it's a great outcome as motorcyclists can learn skills on dirt and in a more controlled environment instead of on the road. Gaining off-road skills first creates a better street rider all around. Another portion of these off-road sales may be due to further border closures and limited travel we faced throughout 2020, meaning that we had to spend more time in our own area exploring more in depth. A new segment establishing itself within motorcycling is the electric bike segment. We have seen electric motorcycles make waves within cities in Canada. Although sales are still minimal, we are seeing a steady growth and interest in the electric segment. We expect the electric segment won't boom here as it might in other countries. This is partially because of the vast distances we have between charging stations and cities. Overall, we're a sparsely populated country, making it difficult for electric vehicles to become a viable form of transportation. We are seeing most manufacturers put effort into creating electric bicycles. This is really interesting as it offers a transition sport for bicyclists to become motorcyclists. Many manufacturers believe that if people can have an easy and safe introduction into two-wheeled motorsports through an electric bicycle, riders will be much more likely to get into motorcycling soon after. As Canadians, we hold a heavy focus on experience-based travel. With the pandemic canceling many Canadians' travel plans, there is much more travel within the country by motorcyclists. As borders open and restrictions ease, we expect to see a huge boost in international motorcycle travel and organized tours taken by Canadians. This is a bonus for tour operators and bike rental businesses. On top of this, we are also seeing a rise in riders 20 years and older engaging in motorcycling and motorcycle travel. This is great to see, as before, the average age of the Canadian motorcyclist was 50 years and older. We are now seeing younger age groups enter the industry and start riding in Canada. From 2019 to 2020, we've seen a 10% increase in new motorcycle sales overall. This doesn't include the resale market for motorcycles and recreational vehicles, which has boomed by an estimated 150%. In 2020, we have seen higher new motorcycle sales than we have in the past 11 years. Before 2020, the highest sales year in recent history was 2009. 2020 is currently 4% greater in sales than 2009, and 2021 is looking to be on par with 2020. A report about recreational motorcycling in Canada, released in 2015, showed that 77% of motorcycling households made an annual income above the Canadian average household. This shows that in general, motorcyclists have more expendable income and are more willing to spend time and money on their hobbies and experience-based travel. To summarize, 2020 and 2021, we have seen higher motorcycle sales than we have in the past 10 years, with a heavy focus on dual sport, adventure, and off-road motorcycles. The Canadian population that rides motorcycles is experience-based and will be looking to travel in 2022, when travel restrictions are loosened. The average motorcyclist is still over 50 years old, with a growing demographic of 20 years old to 35 years old. If you are interested in learning more about our Canadian market or looking to advertise to Canadians for your business, feel free to head over to our website at www.motorcyclemojo.com. Here you can find press releases, articles, and information about advertising with us. Again, I'm Emily Roberts from Motorcycle Mojo Magazine, and thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.